Lindsay Estes, and this is my Project 14 Smartboard Basics. First thing you need to do is to turn your Smartboard on or off. You go on the very left-hand button on your control panel and you press the power on or power off button. In order to turn it off, you'll have to press it twice. We've already turned the Smartboard on because it does take a couple of minutes for it to warm up and turn on. The next thing you want to do whenever you turn your Smartboard on, especially after extended periods of non-use, you want to collaborate your screen. In order to collaborate your Smartboard, you're going to push both buttons down, and then you're just going to follow and push the targets. Okay, once you've collaborated your Smartboard, you're now ready to use. The first thing you want to do is most of your programs you're going to do with the Smartboard is you're going to use your Smart Note. The first thing that we're going to work with is we're going to work with text. There's two different ways you can use text on the Smartboard. The first thing is you can choose any of your 4 pins at the bottom of the Smartboard and you can write. Once you put your pen down, you can select your text. Since I did it in 2 different lines, it's showing it as 2 different boxes, and hit Recognize Welcome To. Do the same thing for EDN 310. Once you have that, now you can move it around and it's seen as text. The other way you can add text is you can press the keyboard button on the left-hand side of the Smartboard keyboard. Here, you can type just like a regular keyboard you would use on the computer. Same thing, you have the space key, you have caps locks, you have shift. So for here, I'm going to do a capital E, capital D, capital M, and then you even have your numbers right up here. Once you're finished, you can just simply exit out of the keyboard. And you have your to continue working with text. Whenever you want to delete something or you're through with it, you won't want your students to see it anymore, you can simply select the text, press the arrow, and you can delete it, and it's gone. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to work with objects. You can either have your toolbar at the very top like it is now, or you simply press this arrow up and down key to switch it down to the bottom again. To work with your objects, the first thing we're going to do is press this button that has the square and the circle. And now we have a range of objects that we can choose from. I'm going to choose the triangle. Once I choose the triangle, I simply take my finger and I drag and create a triangle as big or small as I want. Once I release my finger, that made the triangle. You can then, until you've selected the arrow key again, you're going to continue making triangles with your finger anytime you press. So I'll select the arrow because I want to work with just one triangle, so I'm going to delete the others. One more. Okay, and here's my big triangle. The first thing I want to do is I want to hit Properties, and that's going to bring up another toolbar, and we'll be able to choose a color. Here you want to go to Fill Effects, and then you can choose a pattern fill, a gradient fill, image fill, or solid fill. For this purposes, I'm going to choose solid fill. And I'm just going to choose lavender. So here, my triangle is filled with a lavender color. You can also choose different line styles. You can choose different thicknesses if you want your students to be able to see it, or no thickness at all. You can also choose a different line color. Now, we can animate our object. In order to do this, we simply click in the same toolbar with under Properties, we hit Object Animation. We hit Type, we can hit Fade Out, Direction, Fly Out, Direction. We can hit left, right, top, bottom, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. We're going to choose top left. Speed, slow, normal, or fast. We're going to hit slow. And you can choose when the page is entered or when the object is clicked. For this purpose, we want to hit when the object is clicked. And repeats For this purposes, we don't need any, but you do have the option to repeat the animation. So now, if I click my object, it'll fly right out. This is really useful when you want to hide and reveal properties. For instance, if I gave my students a math problem, 3 plus 2, and I already had the answer, but I didn't want my students to see it, or I had a series of math problems and I didn't want my students to see the answers, but I wanted them already on there, I can create an object. For this purpose, we're going to do a square. Create an object over your square. Choose your arrow again. Choose the object. Go back down to properties. Let's choose a solid fill. This time we're going to choose red. Now it's covered up. But this time around, we want to animate the object again so that when I click it, it'll disappear and the answer will be shown. We're going to fly in. We're going to fly out, actually. We're going to go to the bottom right, left, a slow speed when the object is clicked, and no repeats. Okay, so my students are done with their bell work or their math assignment. I simply click the object and the answer is revealed. Next thing we're going to do to work with objects is I'm going to demonstrate something called the infinite clone. The first thing you want to do is draw your object. Again, click on the arrow again so you're not creating squares every time you touch the Smartboard. Select your object, go down, you can do properties, you can edit any way you want, add color, anything you want. So again, I'll show how to add color. Go to, this time we're going to do a pattern fill, and we're going to do dots. So, there's my square. Once I click on it again, and you're going to see this arrow down, which is where we've been going to properties, and go down to infinite clone, and simply, next thing you're going to do is simply touch the edge of your object and drag. Here, we're cloning the object, but not having to copy paste. There you go. That's how you infinite clone. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the Smartboard when you're in other programs such as PowerPoint, web pages, or just simply on your desktop. So you're going to exit out of your Smartboard notebook.
Go.
The next thing you can do is exit out of your Smart Notebook, and you can open a web page or you can just write on your desktop. So, again, just begin writing. And then, different programs have it set up different ways. So you may have a camera button up here in the top where you'll capture it, or you can just simply choose your toolbar, hit capture. It's thinking, and then it's going to open it up in Smart Notebook so you've saved whatever you've written. So whatever your notes are, next thing we're going to do is work with multimedia. Okay, so here you have just your plain paper where you can write, where we were working with text, where we were working with objects, and working with different things. But here you can click this little picture frame button, and you have all kinds of content. You have galleries, you have activities, you have Smart Exchange, which is something on the web where you can exchange lessons with other teachers. And here I went to Gallery Essentials and I chose Interactive and Multimedia. So let's say that you can go down and there's lots. There's guitars, there's a camel where it sounds like a camel, cats, different cubes. So let's choose a black dice. Okay, I click on it and I roll the dice. So you can use this for many different projects with students, especially in math, but there's so many different options. For instance, we have the symbols. When I click on it, it sounds like a symbol. There you go. That's my Smartboard presentation number 14.